going on, family? Happy full moon. Happy full moon in Libra. First full moon of the new year. All right. So, sending nothing but positive and prosperous vibes to everybody. Hope you guys have been enjoying the start of the new year. Hope you guys been enjoying, all right, this new innovative energy in the air when we talk about Aries season, the spring equinox, all right? So we know when we get to the full moon period, we're seeing what we have to, release, what we have to detach, what's on our shoulders that's weighing heavy, what people, places, and things are playing out as a burden in the house, the area of life that we have the moon transiting, in order to see how to make space for the things that we are pursuing in our personal life, specifically with this being Aries season full moon. But we're basically going to be filtering our relationships and seeing what we have to detach from. And when we say detach and release, we don't only want to look at this from a physical perspective. We also want to look at this from a, as far as ideas, concepts, perceptions, emotions, any type of energy that is playing out as a burden, because it doesn't have to be a physical thing that plays out as a burden in your life. It could be a very thought about something, maybe guilt, maybe form of trauma. These are all the things we're talking about when we talk about releasing and detaching. For us, a lot of us, we have, long-term journeys dealing with detachment from certain scenarios, experiences in our life, whether it's relationship experiences, all different type of experiences that we may go through that put us through, emotional roller coasters or whatnot. But regardless, guys, I've been super under the weather. All right, allergies kicking my ass on top of me not really being on top of my diet. So I was feeling crazy yesterday. Like I was feeling crazy, like super fatigued, face all puffy, sneezing, trying to get mucus up out my system. Just trying to rest up, trying to hydrate. So I was able to grab some of this Aries energy. All right, I was able to grab some of this Aries energy to get me together to get these energies out. All right, guys. So I won't be here for long. Excuse me if I'm just, passing by some of the comments. I'm happy full moon to everybody. But I just want to be able to get these energies through before I just pass out on live. All right, y'all. So let's get right to it. I want to talk about the transits through the houses so we can understand how this energy, what area of life this energy is going to be influencing us through the houses these next couple of days, and why is it critical to understand why universe got this energy is transiting through this house right now, and what does it mean for you for the rest of the Aries season. Okay, so full moon in Libra. Okay, first of all, Libra's cardinal air, ruled by Venus. Okay, when we talk about air signs are relationship signs. Air deals with the logic, air deals with communication, relatability, ideas, thoughts. Air travels, air sends messages, air connects, air is hard to trap. Unless we talking about Aquarius air, and even at that, you can't even trap that type of air, all right? That concealed fixed air. So it might be the air inside of a container, inside of a tire, inside of, something that's sealed, but in some type of shape or form, a bit of air gonna leak up out of there, all right? But when we talk about air signs, that's the frequency vibration of air signs. And when we talk about full moons, wherever the full moon is transiting, this is an energy that we never want to overdo. All right, we always want to keep that in mind. We never want to overdo the energy when we talk about the sign the full moon is transiting. The emotion of the world is very high, and this helps us to prevent catastrophic, transformative, crisis-like moments in our lives. All right, by not putting too much energy or overreacting to a certain energy during the full moon time. So when we look at Libra being cardinal air, air dealing with that frequency vibration we just broke down as far as communication, logic, connection, and on top of them being cardinal, Libra being cardinal, cardinal is the initiator, all right, the starter, all right, the leader, and then it's ruled by Venus. Venus dealing with how we love, how we appreciate, how we connect, all right, governs how we deal with our value system, our self-esteem, okay, how we relate to others. Venus has a whole lot to do with how we relate to others. So not necessarily your communication style, but a lot of how you go about connecting with others in some type of shape or form, especially on a more intimate level. Now, The full moon in Libra is going to influence us to react and respond to how we deal with our relationships on all type of shapes or forms. Things about our relationships externally and things that we're doing in our relationships, whether we're utilizing our relationships in more of a positive frequency vibration, or if our relationships is playing at more of a detriment. All right. The reason I titled this filtering our relationships for our personal goals is because we always got to remember when we talk about the full moon is always going to be opposite the new moon. I mean, I said new moon. The full moon is always going to be opposite the sun. All right, I said new moon because it is a new sun. All right, it was only a couple of degrees, 8 degrees into Aries. All right, so the sun is still new into the constellation in that first decan. Right, so they're always going to be opposite when we talk about full moons. And what do we know about opposites? Opposites attract. And this is a lesson for us to understand how to get these energies on the same page, how to get them balanced. All right. That word is definitely thrown around a lot right now because it's a full moon in Libra. So what are we trying to get balanced? The sun in Aries, what we're paying attention to, which is our passions, our personal goals, aspirations, how we personally see things, how we personally feel about things. Libra, which is the moon transiting, is dealing with relationships. It's dealing with compromising. It's dealing with communication, logic, not so much feeling and emotion, dealing with logic. So we need to find the balance between our personal issues and our relationships, whether it's how we overindulge into some of our relationships, is how we overindulge in some of our relationships that ultimately, block us from the time we're supposed to be putting into our personal goals. Whether it's us being too closed off from the external realm or some of our relationships, and to the point we're blocking opportunities to associate, connect, network, what it is that we're personally into. So you could be on that spectrum too. So in all different types of shapes of form, we're filtering our relationships to see, you know, with the ways that we deal with people and interaction, with the people we're surrounded by, our environment, and how we certain specific one-on-one connections that we have in our life, the people closest to us and whatnot. How do these relationships play out, influence the different ways that we deal with our personal issues? We know what our personal goals are. You should know what your personal goals are, especially this time of the year is Aries season, spring season. It's time to give birth to something. It's time to, breathe life into something. It's time to start a new cycle with something. The whole world's under that influence, all right? So if you're not in that influence of either starting something new, excited to put new things out in the open, or more inspired to evolve in what you're already doing, okay? Because that's new as well. So when we talk about Aries season and spring equinox, starting new things and whatnot, looking at what you're already into and seeing that you want to evolve during Aries spring season, that's a form of newness too. That's a newer experience. Okay, you could be playing a video game and you've been playing a video game for the past 2 weeks, but level 2, level 3, level 4, those was all different experiences, all right? New experiences within the same game, within the same, console. So this is how we want to perceive that as well. With me saying newness a lot, talking about Aries season and the spring equinox. So that's what we're going to be dealing with, trying to find the balance between our relationships and our personal issues. Once again, the area of life that you have, Libra, and the house that's going to be the house where the moon is transiting, where you're going to want to see how you deal with relationships in that area, how to go about filtering relationships in that area. All right, this transit helps us to understand how to filter our relationships and find the balance between our relationships and our personal aspirations and goals, making space for our new goals, all right, New Year goals. When we look at full moons, once again, detaching, releasing, getting heavy energy off your shoulders, all right, seeing what responsibilities is yours and not yours. Sometimes we subconsciously, especially air signs, especially Libras, all right, especially Libras. I'm a huge I didn't experience this shit a lot of times in my life, but a lot of times we naturally subconsciously create responsibilities with others for certain things, and whether it's out of whether it's out of love for our friend, whether it's us just wanting to be there, us seeing potential, being excited for certain potential we could build with others, and putting certain things in the air. Sometimes we have responsibilities that it's certain energies that we wanted to put time into, but it ended up not being the right timing. And now we have open-ended situations with people. You know, a lot of them situations are going to be on our mind right now or pop up to the surface, and we have to deal with them. Okay. But when we say making space for new goals, you know, this area of life is going to be the area of life where you're going to where the moon is transiting, where you have Libra at. There's going to be an area of life where you're going to have to see, like, when it comes to my new goals, my new aspirations, like, I already naturally relate and want to connect with others in this area of life by default, wherever house you have a Libra in. Libra's already influencing that in that house. So based off the experiences you've had in that house, you're gonna see where the compliment or where the detriment is among people, how you may relate yourself, or how you experience relationships in that area of life. You're gonna see how that supports your personal issues. You're going to feel and think during this transit to understand how the way you deal with relationships and put yourself out there, or how you communicate with others, or how your perception of relationships and communication to others play a part with all the things that you're embarking on in this new year. So that's what we're dealing with that. All right. Shutting off old energy with relationship with, with previous relationships, and also our perception of relationships. Now, this is important, and certain transits through the houses are gonna feel this more than others. But you know, some of us at times, based off of the things that we've experienced in relationships, our perception of relationships ends up being really dark, ends up being really debilitated in a way where we're not realizing how we're adding on to whatever negative picture or idea we have about relationships. Okay, we can't let past experiences, which are just lessons. Shout out to my teacher Dolo the Pilot Man, the Archangel Uriel. You know, he says relationships are spiritual experiments. All right, so this is just an experience. That's just a lesson. It's just an experiment for you to understand how you like to connect, relate. All right, and deal with love, deal with intimacy, deal with relatability. We all have different lessons to learn with these things. We all have different gifts and opportunities with relationships and interactions. All right, so this transit is going to help us to see, based off of what we've experienced in relationships, to kind of break some barriers that we may have subconsciously placed based on what we experience in relationships and certain negative perceptions we have in relationships. And this could also not just be not in an intimate romantic way, but also in a, business way. Relationships in the home, relationships in your familiar surroundings right now, relationships in the workplace. So we can't just correlate with Libra down to intimate romantic relationships. We can't just do that. All right. Libra rules one-on-one relationships. Period. All right. So, and definitely, once again, energies with old relationships that we may have been holding on to, that we gotta, make sure we shed, because once again, we blocking opportunities for new people, places, and things. Remember, the full moon is like is preparing things for the new moon. It's preparing you to have the cleanest slate when you get to the new moon, so you're not dealing with things from the past cycle in your new book, your new cycle. When we get to the new moon. So this is important for us to take care of business now. We always need to have that approach during the full moon. You always need to have a take care of business approach when it comes to this energy, because we don't want to be dealing with a whole bunch of nonsense during the new moon. We don't want to be dealing with a whole bunch of for the people that's not gonna take an initiative to understand how to divide time between their relationships, or how they deal with the external realm and their personal issues. This new moon, the next new moon coming up, is gonna most likely manifest situations with more responsibility with others. So the slight influence of any type of responsibility you may have now with others in relationships, or connecting with others, or upholding certain feelings and thoughts with others, that's going to be a slight indicator of a relationship you may have to distance. You may have to moderate in some type of shape or form. You may have to be more aware of, because You may not even understand how that's playing more of a detriment on what you're trying to do. This full moon is helping us to understand that some of the things that we're connected to in the external realm, because Libra is birthed out of the seventh house. The seventh house is opposite the first house, which is personal aspirations, your personal outlook in the world. We all have a first house, aka we all should have a form of individuality and our own personal outlook in the world. But when we go to the seventh house, I gave birth to Libra. Libra, that house is dealing with connectivity, relationships, relating that first house energy, your personality, into the external realm, relating it to the outside world, relating it to others, connecting it with others, balancing it with others. So we got to understand that by default, our relationships are always going to teach us how to manage a lot going on in our personal life. It's so easy to have personal things in your out of whack based off of your relationship, based off of what's going on when you leave your house. All right, just by default, because the first house is opposite the seventh house. All right, so this is that's the energy we want to make sure we're aware of. All right, now we're gonna be experiencing a grand air trine. All right, we're experiencing it. When does it So, with us experiencing this grand air trine during this full moon, what are trines? Trines are triangular like alignment between three signs in the same element. This trine is an air sign, so we have planets in Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. All right, and with these planets aligning, all right, in every air sign, this creates a harmonious energy for these energies in the air signs to all complement each other, to manifest certain things that we're into, that we want to whether depend is more so dependent on the house you have Libra in, okay, and what's going on in that house. I mean, the air signs overall, the houses that you have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius in, we want to look out for opportunities in these houses that you have your air signs in. But for the most part, opportunities are going to arise with the ways that we deal with gaining clarity with our relationships, possibly being able to exchange, connect fruitful ideas with others. All these opportunities are going to come through relationships and other people because it's in air. So be active listener. Be mindful what others are expressing to you, especially if they're doing it with a form of urgency. You don't know what type of alignment you got going on that's hitting this trine, or overall we're all understanding, we're all developing opportunities, all right, to interact certain fruitful ideas, exchange certain resources, connect with others with things that we're both into, all right, opportunities to connect with others, with things that you're already into, that you're already building. So very important to understand. You got to keep an eye out for these things with this grand earth trine, especially with it having the full moon a part of it, because things can manifest quick. With the moon attracts, the moon attracts, it reels in, it soaks in, it understands, it nurtures, and it's a full moon. So these opportunities, these things that we may initiate, once again, it's in Libra. Libra's dealing with initiating idea, communicating the new thought, all right, pushing that shit out, the pressure air, with the moon being full in Libra, the type of stamp and vibration we can bring into the world with either new connections with others, or understanding that, connecting certain things with others more logically, not just being open with dealing with collaborating or interacting with others, being more logical about how much time we put into a certain interaction with others. Like, these things alone, like detaching and releasing alone, can bring opportunities for us. And these things is gonna linger. It's not just gonna be during this full moon. It's gonna be during past these transits up into that new moon. So that grand earth trine, powerful, but once again, full moon, we don't want to overdo the energy. So with it being in air, we can't be doing too much with our relationships. The moon in Libra is opposite the sun and Venus in Aries. With the sun and Venus in Aries, like we were just breaking down in the last energy breakdown, with the sun and Venus in Aries, we're real aggressive about the when it comes to the things that we value, when it comes to our personal passions. A lot of us may be a little single-minded right now how we're dealing with our relationships. Aries season is about your personal priorities, how you're personally giving life to things, personally evolving. So, universe is gonna have to send some create some scenarios that may deal with a lot of friction, clashes with your relationships, for you to understand this environment, these people over here don't support your personal issues or whatnot, or showing you how showing how your relationships once again may be playing a burden on the things that you personally motivated about. All right, Mars energy, your true intentions, all right, your true passions. So a lot of that is gonna by default may clash with things that we may be overindulging in. All right, Venus energy, like things, all right, things that make us feel good that we may not be putting work into. Overall, with these type of energies, you know, us leaning on more of an individual way of dealing with things right now is what's going to help everything, help to prevent you dealing with any type of full moon, catastrophic crisis like moments. All right. We don't want to overdo anything with relationships. We don't want to overdo anything communicating our thoughts and feeling like our thoughts have to be seen right now. We don't want to overdo none of that. We don't want to be too extra logical about things right now. We want to follow a gut instinct of things right now a little bit more. The grand air trine right now is going to help you to resonate with the right thoughts quickly. When you got a trine in air, the mental clarity is upgraded a bit. All right? If you got a grand air trine in your chart, you can overthink here and there by default having heavy air placements, whether they're sextiles, squares, conjunctions, it don't matter. Heavy air placements, you're going to overthink about something. But when we're talking about the trine, though, you got a grand air trine in your chart, you may just manifest a lot of opportunities to play as a support system for others, motivate others, inspire others, keep exchange with others. And vice versa. You be supported by others. You be able to build with others. You attracting certain resources from others. You having a certain stamp within your community, certain relationships, certain environments, dealing with groupings, associations. So by default. So right now we want to be able to see that, but we want to take everything with a grain of salt and move on things in an individual way. The moment we start correlating to what other people are doing too much, the moment we feel like we got to jump into something because other people are into it, the moment we're being too influenced by our partner, the moment we're putting our personal issues on the back burner, and we're not trying to find a way to either compromise or meet to disagree, because we understand we can't put all of our personal goals and passions on the back burner and whatnot, like that. Like, the moment we don't do none of them things, the moment we might get into a little shaky situation during this full moon. So this is what I want us to be aware with that. Now, let's get into the houses. All right. So when we look at the houses, the area of life that the full moon is going to be transiting in the houses, this is going to be an area of life that universe is going to be influencing you to make space in this house if you got to. Clear space in this house if you got to. Get your detach and your release on in this house if you got to. You feel me? Be conscious of how you deal with relationships in this house. Be conscious of how you may be overdoing it or overexert yourself in relationships in this house, especially if you got a lot of air placements. All right? And then understand that you making space in this house, you being conscious of how you deal with relationships in this house, is helping you to, grow what it is that you got in the house that you got Aries in. And overall, dealing with your new year goals and personal aspirations. Before I go through the houses, I just wanted to break down the thumbnail. If you see the thumbnail for the live is a thin line between love and hate. There's a number of reasons why I picked that thumbnail for this full moon in Libra. First of all, that movie had a lot to do with relationships, with love, with different dynamics of it, especially between his the woman he was messing with, that he ended up dealing with at the end of the movie, that he knew from his childhood, and the one he ended up getting into all the drama with. Now, you know, Martin Lawrence wasn't doing a good job filtering his relationships in that movie. And the reason why I use that thumbnail, because it's extreme. It's extreme. She got a gun all up in his nose, and it's Aries season. And it's a full moon. So we're dealing with heavy extreme energies, especially heavy cardinal energies. We know cardinal energies is aggressive, pressure-like, all right? Libras could be aggressive communicating their thoughts. Aggressive trying to control things in a relationship. Aggressive with the way that they try to sway things, with the way that they could articulate themselves. All right? Aries could be aggressive, period. All right? Aggressive with the way they express themselves. You know, aggressive to take initiative and act on certain things individually, on their personal passions, personal forms of creativity. Capricorns could be aggressive with their business endeavors, aggressive with their ability to break things down and build them back up. And then you got Cancers, which could be aggressive when it comes to, you know, expressing themselves in different type of shapes and forms based off how they feel. Their energy can just be strong. You could feel like a Cancer is too intense for you sometimes. I like to say Scorpios and Aries be too intense for people with Mars. Not only does Cancer has a Mars influence on it, because Mars is in its fall state in Cancer, but you know, that energy is intense, period. That energy is intense, period, when we talk about Cancers, you know? But let's get into these houses so we can understand where we at. So let's get into it. I'm going to run through these briefly out. Once again, I just want to make sure I get these out. I was really feeling under the weather. I'm already feeling fatigued a bit right now. So, but I just want to make sure we understand these influences. All right. First house, Libra rising. Okay. Now, Libra risings, you guys are going to have to see if you have to make some personal space right now. You know, the first house deal with our personal issues, the people, places, and things we personally connected to, and our personal outlook in the world. You got the full moon transiting here, Libra. So a lot of the you with Libra in the first house, you're prone to letting a lot of people into your personal life and being real open about things in your personal life. These things could be positive based off of the relationships you're able to manifest, fruitful relationships you're able to manifest, the ways that you're able to, you know, personally relate yourself, opportunities you may develop you may attract by being a people's person and your ability to connect with others. But by default, it could be at detriment you letting a lot of people into your personal life. So the full moon transit in this house is helping you to understand, you know, how much of your personal issues you've put into the air. And now you probably got a lot of responsibilities. You're noticing you got a lot of responsibilities with others, Libra rising. You noticing that when you try to get into your personal issues, you tied up with a lot of things with others. So you taking time during this full moon transit, all right, to understand how to correlate your personal issues with the moon transit in that first house, okay? That's something you want to have your mind on. Situations that deal with now, is a full moon transit in your first house. Not only do you want to make space, not only do you want to be conscious of how you're correlating relationships in your personal life, you know, this could be a time where you feel real personally expressive, especially in relationships of yours. So situations dealing with your partner or dealing with others, you want to be real conscious about how you personally express yourself, all right? Feeling the need to have your thoughts seen right now, Libra rising, is very important, because that could dive into a situation where you really think you're solving something. You're really thinking your way of communication or your way of mediating something and solving something is really adding fuel to the fire and instigating something or coming off as a form of competition with somebody else. So this is what y'all want to understand. If you feel any burden with things dealing with your personal goals, Libra rising, understand that's the full moon sending an influence for you to nip things in the bud and see how to make space and clear things up in your personal life. This is why you have the full moon transit here. This is what universe wants you to understand. All right, Libra rising? Second house, Virgo rising. All right, right now, Virgo risings, you guys are seeing why you value certain people. The second house deal with our value system, our creativity, our form of self-esteem, how we build, okay, how we build forms of foundation, security, has a career influence, deals with monetary gains. So when we have the full moon transiting this house, the moon likes to be in this house because it gets to react to what it can nurture as far as your values, which could be a person, place, or thing, a concept, a form of creativity. But you have Libra here. So Virgo risings, you guys naturally value being able to relate in some type of shape or form when it comes to things that you value. You guys already naturally are influenced to dive into some form of relatability, and you guys, want to connect. Virgo rising want to connect with Libra in that second house. They feel comfortable, having a circle of people that they're comfortable around connecting with. So when you got the full moon chance in here, you're understanding and gaining more clarity right now of why you value the people that you value. This may be a time right now where you're also truly valuing what you can build with others right now with Libra in that second house. So it may be certain relationships that you have that you're working with people on certain things, or you're catching the idea to implement certain things with others. So this is what you want to be conscious of. You also want to be mindful of the relationships you value that you're realizing it's off of the strength of something superficial. It's off of it because Libra in the second house could get superficial. All right, it's ruled by Venus. The second house, Venus is home here. So just having Libra in the second house at times, some of the reasons you get into relationships could be superficial. It could be like a lot of times some of the relationships with Libra in the second house, it has to have something. Well, Virgo rises already deal by Earth, so they already deal with practicality. But it's like that Libra in the second house, air in them Earth houses, is going to influence some form of structure, practicality in their relationships, for sure. So we got that. All right. Now, so yeah, Virgo risings, this is what we want to be looking at, seeing why you value the people that you value, understanding how the people that you value and what you value, how it affects your personal goals right now. Okay. Understanding that you got to learn to communicate and interact your value system a bit more. So if it's a certain concept, creative goal that you have, that's gonna need air. Virgo rising, air in them Earth houses. You got to deal with some form of relatability and communication when it comes to what you're trying to build and structure in this lifetime. So you're gonna gain more ideas or understand how you could do it more effectively, properly right now. How you've been trying to deal with some form of networking, associating, your values, or seeing how you can connect your creativity or what you feel like you have to offer to the world. And you're about to see more effective ways to do these things, but ultimately also seeing how your relationships are being a detriment to the things that you value, okay? And seeing if you have negative values and relationships that have negative values, all right? You could also feel the need to, because it's a full moon and we're playing out energies of extreme. So if you feel unfulfilled when it comes to certain possessions, where you at career wise, how things are from what you're working on, what you want to get from point A to B, these things can have you lash out and express yourself. These things can have you lash out or express yourself in a certain way, in an extreme way right now, Virgo rising. So, Matt, chill. Like this, just in case second house has a lot to do with, once again, with our self esteem and what we feel like to offer to the world. So when the moon is transit here, the moon trying to nurture that. The moon is trying to support and understand how to deal with the self esteem and its talents. So the minute somebody overestimates something you feel like you can offer to the world, one of your thoughts, one of your feelings, something the way Virgo rising, the way you could react to that right now could be a little could be a detriment. So we want to be careful of that. Now, third house, Leo risings. Okay. Third house deals with what's familiar to us. The third house deals with how we are familiar surroundings. The third house deal with familiar habits and traits that we picked up in our neighborhood from our friends, siblings, and ultimately how we influence to communicate. Okay, so the third house has a lot to do with communication. So this is already an air house. You got Libra in the air house, Leo risings. So right now you're seeing what familiar friendships you have that are supportive of what you do personally. Okay, this could be a state right now. You guys, Leo risings, could be in a state right now where you're thinking and reflecting on who's there for you when it comes to your personal issues, or when you want to personally do something. You could be in that bag right now with this third house energy, because third house is the people that's already familiar to us, our siblings. So when the moon is transiting here, wherever the moon is at, is trying to connect, but it's a lot of energy because it's full here. So you could be right now just feeling like, damn, who's there for me? It could be one little thing going on, one little thing, somebody that you close to or whatnot, or a sibling can't do something from you, and you be ready to flip right now, Leo risings. But when it comes to that moon transit in the third house and it being full, maybe some relationships in here that's familiar to you that need some distance. Maybe some relationships that's familiar to you that's in your surroundings right now. Maybe people you live with. Maybe some energies you got with some siblings. Maybe some people that's always in your familiar surroundings that you got to interact with for whatever reason that may be. So they're not really personally connected to you, but they're in your vicinity. They're in your close surroundings. Any friction with any of these people, any energy that you may see yourself dealing with, any responsibilities within this area, this is the area you're going to have to see how to detach and release right here. All right, Leo risings. Right now, you guys, it's a real fruitful season for y'all. All right, fire in the first house. You got the sun and Venus hitting your first house in a real harmonious way. You're already fire, dealing with forms of creativity, forms of expression, inspiration, enlightenment, awareness. So the way you express yourself, you have to see if that's something that others in that third house be throwing the air on or be trying to blow out. You gotta be conscious of that and be conscious of how your environment plays a part with the things that you want to creatively express or your new year goals right now. It may be some things you have to rearrange in that area when it comes to familiar friends, when it comes to the people you be around, when it comes into the environment you may be in. You may be realizing right now the environment you're in is not healthy is not a supportive environment for what it is that you got going on personally. So it may be one thing, it may be hard to just get up and leave and transition or transform, but at the end of the day, you got to be at least conscious that this energy is playing out within your environment and is affecting how you deal with things personally. So the more you're conscious of it, the more you're able to block it out, all right, or deal with it in different alternative ways, at least mentally, in order to deal with what you got to deal with personally. Be careful right now of how you're dealing with things in your familiar surroundings, how people drag you out the house right now, things going on in your familiar environment. If you don't need to do it, you don't need to interact with somebody in your neighborhood or whatnot. You don't need to have that certain conversation with somebody that's dealing with somebody familiar with, but the temperament is high, and you could give it a day for things to chill or whatnot. Like, do that. All right, with all this double layer in this alignment, you don't want to do the most when it comes to your relationships, definitely during this full moon, Leo rises. Fourth house, Cancer risings. All right, fourth house deals with how we deal with our emotions, how we deal with our family environment, how we deal with whatever is home to us, how we deal with the heart chakra area. Fourth house deals with forms of privacy and solitude. So when we look at the fourth house, Cancer risings, you guys right now understanding how to connect some more within the home. With Libra in that first house, at times you actually got to think about what's the ways of connecting with others. What's the more, balanced way of connecting with others. It can't just be based off how you feel like things should be, because other people connect differently, deal with their emotions differently. And this is what you understand. This is what you develop in the home, Cancer risings. A lot of Cancer risings understand a whole lot about relationships and understand a whole lot about how to connect to others, not only because they're intuitive, that intuitive personally, but based off that Libra in the fourth house, they're understanding that they have to develop different ways to connect with others based off their emotions being different from how other people's emotions are. All right. So for my Cancer risings, You guys are understanding how to connect in the home. Maybe some turbulence, maybe some friction within the home, or when it deals with people, people, places, and things you truly care about, you emotionally invested in. You know, universe got the full moon transit in here because it wants you to get your emotions right now before you embark on these new year goals. I want you to understand that different way, that different form of love language somebody else that you care about may have, for you to find some balance between how you personally feel about things, how you personally see things, to mend a fruitful relationship, to agree to disagree. Okay, the moon loves to be in this house. So you're about to look at your emotions as something that you got to cater to, you got to take care of. Just make sure you being conscious of a way that you feel and wanting to move on that. You have to be, it's full moon time. You got to be conscious, not letting that all this pent up, exciting energy, passionate energy. All right, we're dealing with this opposite axis on the Libra and Aries. You got to make sure that doesn't move your emotions to want you to act on something spontaneously. You got to kind of learn how to reflect on it, soak in on it. It's transiting your fourth house, so the moon is trying to nurture where is it that you may be not really feeling it emotionally, where you may be feeling negative emotionally about a person, place, or thing, or something that's close to home. All right. Right now, the moon wants you to take privacy and solitude more seriously, to reset your psyche for what you're embarking on in your personal life right now, with the full moon transiting the fourth house. May manifest situations right now to find some balance, to find some compromise within the home or the people that you truly care about. And overall, seeking that privacy is important when you got a full moon transiting your fourth house. Fifth house, Gemini rising. All right, feeling like relating your create. Well, first of all, first of all, the fifth house is how we deal with our creativity. Is a fire house. Is all fire houses influence how we express ourselves. So yeah, the sun influence how you express yourself. Your rising sign influence how you personally express yourself, but the aspects to your sun and your rising sign influence how you express yourself. The planets in your first, fifth, and ninth house influence how you express yourself as well. The signs in here, the asteroids in here, that has a huge influence on how you express yourself. So when we look at Cancer risings, excuse me, not Cancer risings, Gemini risings, okay, with Libra in that fifth house, a lot of the times when it comes to how you want to creatively express yourself, because the fifth house deal with how you creatively, artistically express yourself, how you deal with all forms of creativity, entertainment, how you like to be seen, what you want to put on the stage, children, your childlike activity, how you like to have fun, all right, how you like to entertain others. The fifth house with Gemini, for you Gemini risers, you guys are really gonna be feeling like relating your forms of creativity, because Libra in the fifth house wants to is influenced to connect with others on a creative level. Is influenced to have some relationships they can exchange with others on a creative level, or you know, get relate their creativity in some type of shape or form. Get it out there, network it. Remember, air deal with connecting, messaging. So whatever is influencing, wherever area is at in your chart, that area life could get sent out, could get related, could get messaged, could get connected a lot quick. So Libra in that fifth house, when it's into something creatively, it could rally up people that's into the same thing. It could share that idea, awareness a lot, especially if you got air placements. You already Gemini rising, but if you got if you actually got placements in air, your ability to shed awareness on what you creatively into is very strong. So when we look at this energy, you guys are really feeling like relating your creativity, really in a stage where the moon is full, so you got to be careful how you go about expressing yourself, because when we dealing with the full moon transiting fire houses, you're gonna be influencing. You can catch heavy emotion to want to push out in some type of shape or form. Fire dealing with masculine, pushing out. So with the full moon transit in the fifth house for my Gemini risings, the things that y'all the way y'all see yourselves, um I don't want to say the fifth house deal with ego in a way, but it deals with how you see yourself expressing yourself too. All right. I mean, all fire houses dealing with how you see yourself in some type of shape or form, because fire is dealing with seeing. But overall, take things a bit personal with the full moon transit in the fifth house, because it may be a certain way that you may want to relate your creativity or have your creativity seen or have a form of expression seen in some type of shape of form. And with the full moon being so strong, with the moon being full, that energy to want to express that could be so strong that when it's not received a certain way that you want it to be, that could play out a way that you ain't, it rub you the wrong way. So you got to be mindful of how you deal with all forms of expression with the full Libra in the first, fifth, or ninth house right now. All right. But when it comes to your creativity, you're about to see what relationships you're dealing with Libra in that fifth house, that fruitful things happen when you connect on a one-on-one level with people. You may be part of a certain creative group. You may be part of a band. You may be part of a podcast, something that you're doing on a creative level or whatnot in the fifth house. And because you got Libra that you're doing it with others, you may realize right now that maybe it's time for me to take this on my personal route. Maybe it's time to do this creatively on my own now. There's going to be a lot of them situations with the full moon transiting Libra where people have to realize they have to do things on their own right now because the emphasis is really Aries energy. But the full moon is helping us to understand how the relationships we have are blocking things that we should be utilizing Aries energy for. All right. So this is what you're going to be, the influence you're going to be dealing with, Gemini risings. All right. Real strong forms of expression. Maybe manifesting people that's trying to pull your creativity out you, wanting to vibe with you creatively, or wanting to pull out heavy form of expression, and it may be dealing with how they may express how they see you in some type of shape or form. So once again, don't let it penetrate too deep if it's something you don't resonate with, because take that as an indicator as a relationship you might have to distance yourself from. You might have to moderate in some type of shape or form. You might have to detach from. A lot of the detaching could be temporary detaches too with the full moon. Could be temporary detaches. Could be things that we just need to get distant from. All right. Sixth house, Taurus risings. Okay. Sixth house deals with how we schedule, how we deal with our daily, weekly regimen, fitness, fatigue, organizing, career, our day-to-day routine. All right. Whatever it is we may be working on, the workplace. So for my Taurus risings right now, you guys have to find a balance between your schedule and your relationships. You guys have to understand when it comes to your personal schedule, how many things are correlated with your schedule that other people are a part of. When you look at your schedule throughout the week, how many people are a part of your schedule? How much time is going? How much time are you coordinating things with other people in your schedule, and how much time throughout your schedule personal priorities are getting checked off? This is what universe is influencing you to pay attention to during this full moon Taurus risings. Libra in that sixth house could have you want to network, could want you to have to try to balance things with others that you're working on. And at times you could end up taking the back burner. You could end up taking a back seat in a certain role that you could be flourishing on by yourself, but you're working on it with others. Or, you're allowing yourself to stay in a state where you have to cooperate with others or whatnot. A lot of Taurus risings could be in a career place and start realizing Libra in the sixth house is like, damn, I don't want to be compromising and balancing things with y'all all day. I really just want to run things the way I want to run things. So, heavy earth signs could deal with that energy anywhere. So, Taurus risings right now, when it comes to y'all schedule, y'all want to see how people are playing a detriment, or relationships you have are playing a detriment to the things you want to schedule, to the things you want to organize in y'all life. All right. If you feel scattered and unorganized, this is a huge sign from universe to let you know, schedule and regiment got to get tidied up as for in this new year for things that you want and that you're setting intentions in within Aries season to grow. Seventh house, Aries rising. Seventh house is the house that gave birth to Libra, is the house dealing with one-on-one relationships, is the house that's opposite from the first house, dealing with how we connect our personality into the external realm, how we deal with one-on-one connection in all type of different shapes or forms. All right, it's the air house dealing with relationships. So when we look at my Aries risings, okay, right now you're seeing how your individuality clashes or is supported when it comes to that seventh house. Okay, Aries rising right now is it can be a very beautiful time for you guys right now. But once again, you got the sun transiting your first house and Venus transiting your first house. So not only is Venus supporting what you got going on with your personal issues or how you want to personally express yourself or your personal aspirations, with the sun transiting your first house, it's trying to give life to new personal aspirations. The sun transiting your first house is a whole new. It's trying to have the things that you personally expressing. It's trying to catch some awareness with that right now. So this could be a real personally inspiring, motivating time right now. But with the full moon transiting your seventh house, you're gonna feel in some type of shape or form how your relationships is either hating or playing out as a blockages what you got going on personally. When it comes to your with the full moon transit in your seventh house, when it comes to your actual one-on-one relationship, if you're actually dating right now, your partner could be playing out as a clash right now. You got to be able to see that nose like, all right, I got the full moon transit seventh house. My partner probably dealing with heavy emotion about something. Don't know how they subconsciously throwing it at me. And let me not let my super individual ways of looking at things clash with that. Let me not try to win a war or prove how I see things as the Aries rising. All right. But definitely gonna be a time where you're gaining so much clarity about how, people you've been around the whole time really not supportive of what you're doing personally, not supportive of your personal success. Okay. Intimidated by your personal success. Aries rising. Okay. So, seeing how individuals clash in that external realm and seeing how you relate to others. You guys, Aries rising, you guys got a lot of power right now. You guys got a lot of you got the sun chance in that first house, a lot of opportunities for the things you personally into, Venus supporting your first house. So, certain blessings coming up in your personal life with certain people, places, and things, wanting to add on to what you're doing positively. You seeing different ways to value or deal with your personal creativity in different type of shape or forms. Possibly relationship opportunities. Okay. But when we look at that seventh house, this house also shows us how you have to learn how to relate your personality in that realm. So even though you got a lot of positive energy rolling with y'all right now, Aries rising, there can be some clashes by default, just during this transit, just based because that we already dealing with the Aries Libra axis, but you Aries rising, so you got that in your first and seventh house. So Aries and Libra rising is gonna feel super extremes when it comes to their personal life and relationships right now. So Aries and Libra rising, make sure y'all not doing too much. Make sure y'all not doing too much in your relationships. All right. But y'all definitely about to see this Aries rising, okay? And definitely about to see how you may have been wrong with the way that you tried to personally express something or get people to personally see something. Y'all about to see that. All right. Now, eighth house, Pisces rising. Okay. Eighth house deals with our secrets, our deep motives, our deep passions, our desires, shared values, which is the resources of others, what we keep behind the scenes, mysticism, the occult realm, the esoteric realm, all right? How we learn to navigate in the dark, the behind the scenes realm, deal with stealthier like energies, deal with fixating our emotions before we connect them to others, all right? Dealing with all them energies in the eighth house. So my Pisces risings, right now, y'all being influenced to clear more dark energies, more burden heavy energies, heavy emotion that may be playing out as a detriment for what it is that you're trying to personally create and express when it comes to Aries season, all right? The moon is uncomfortable transiting this house. Doesn't really like to be in the eighth house, all right? It's sleep here. So when it comes to the moon is gonna influence you to react to things that you keep behind the scenes, whether certain thoughts and ideas, passions that you have that you're real motivated about. These are things you're gonna have to learn how to bring to the forefront right now to help you deal with what is it that you're embarking on in Aries season, aka deep emotions, past thoughts, past guilt trips or whatnot, situations you can't control. You gotta look all that shit in the mirror and understand, whatever happened. I gotta learn to transform. I gotta learn to shed energies for me to evolve in Aries season. I can't let old heavy burden emotions. I could be conscious of it, but I can't allow that to, block what I want to do personally. Now you got Libra in the eighth house. So Libra in the eighth house, you can end up getting in a lot of transformative situations in your relationships. You could be a little gossipy about you could be a little get into situations where you ain't understand you wasn't supposed to communicate something behind the scenes. You end up giving up a little bit too much. And that ends up moderating how you deal with your emotions, secrets, or whatnot. you end up understanding you can't trust everybody. So Pisces rising, you're gonna understand how you're gonna gain some clarity about how you may have been too open, too in the light with somebody, and they had and you ain't give them a chance to even reciprocate their true colors first. So you're gonna be seeing that type of energy, and also gonna be understanding new ways to connect and relate your creativity. The 8th house has a whole bunch of creativity in the house. So when it comes to your deep passions, motives, goals, your creativity, certain ideas, concept, passions that you got behind the scenes people don't know about, new ways to deal with these things, but it's gonna come with you having to shed some experiences, shed some old emotions, certain concepts you have about others, concepts you have about love that may be negative. You gotta learn to shed some of that moving into this new cycle. All right. 9th house, Aquarius risings. 9th house deals with I'm experiencing right now, even though I'm a Capricorn rising. This is what I got. I got Libra in the 9th house. When we look at my Aquarius risings in the 9th house, when we look at the 9th house, is dealing with the house of education, the house of enlightenment, how we learn from our experiences, how we expand from our experiences, how we spiritually expand, long distance travel, how we express our knowledge and wisdom. All right, is a teacher student like energy in here, rules education. So when we look at the 9th house, you guys are having to filter my Aquarius risings. Right now, you're learning you're understanding how to filter your relationships, but more so how to filter the belief systems you may have developed from others. You may have experienced certain things, adapting certain belief systems from others before you've even experienced the shit. All right. Libra in the 9th house, take it from me. All right. Libra in the 9th house, a lot of the times you could be excited. Firehouse, deal with excitement, especially Sagittarius energy, especially mutable house is a mutable house. Mutable wants to exchange. When you got Libra in, you could be influenced to just resonate and relate and support other people's belief systems, other people's perspectives about spirituality and whatnot. And when you resonate with people that, have similar forms of spiritual beliefs to you, you could really want to, exchange with these people. But right now, you got to understand how you got to personally develop your own concepts, your own you can't be so attached to other people's belief systems, and you have to allow yourself to personally experience certain things for these belief systems to have some foundation in your life, to have some true substance, and not just be something that's taught to you and sounds good. So full moon transit in the 9th house, be very conscious about how you feel compelled to express your knowledge and wisdom, how you feel compelled to, for people that underestimate your knowledge and wisdom right now, because you could get into heavy debates, ego clashes right now, trying to express what you know, express what you've been through, your experience right now. You don't dive into too much of that energy if it's not warranted at all. This is going to be an energy where you're going to understand how certain experiences that you reflect on that may be, let's say you want to be a singer and you went to American Idol and they curved you or whatnot, and now that's an experience that be in your head, and you be like, damn, forget singing. Like, I know I was told I'm talented singing, but my whole life that must be a joke now because American Idol curved me early. But like that's the type of energy, like this type of energy you gotta understand, like you gotta understand with this energy, like nah. I personally believe this. Once again, I said belief system. So this is also gonna be similar to the 12th house, like the full moon transit in this house. The full moon wants you to have a belief backbone with what you're doing personally, for the most part. All right, got to be some new belief and faith added into what you see yourself doing, what you aspire yourself to do. That negative experience of you getting curved in American Idol, whatnot, that can't start to build the building blocks for what you're doing. What you looking at it from the negative way, it could be a nice building block if you look at it like, okay, it's just an experience. I learned here. It broke me down to build me up. Yeah, that's a positive way to look at your experience. So right now, full moon chains in 9th house is like you got to make sure you're altering whatever negative perceptions, forms of outlooks, any negative morals you have about how you deal with relationships or how you deal with personally expressing yourself. Full moon transiting this house, you're also gonna be real Full moon trades the ninth house. You may be in a state where you really want to experience connection. You want to experience some form of relatability. So whatever's changing in the ninth house, we want to experience it. We're going to manifest experiences with it. Okay, so Libra in the ninth house, you probably already got a lot of knowledge and wisdom about things dealing with one-on-one relationships. So, you know, that knowledge and wisdom has to be accounted for you to make space. The ninth house, another thing about this, the sun, full moon transiting the ninth house is influencing you to make sure you're reacting and responding to the wisdom you already have about relationships. All right? You already have some wisdom about relationships with Libra in the ninth house, Aquarius risings. That has to be accounted for something in the new year. You have to see where that has to be applied. Full moon in the ninth house. Now, the 10th house, Capricorn risings. 10th house deals with, you know, this is the midheaven. This is the highest point of the chart. This is how the world sees us. This is our social status. This is how we broadcast it to the world. This house has a huge influence on career, all right? And how we stabilize our social status and a form of foundation in this lifetime. So when we look at 10th house for my Cap risings, this is understanding how to organize your relationships and how they affect your social status. I use the word organize because it's an earth house. I like to say this 10th house deal with construction. Saturn's home here. This is where Capricorn was born at. So for the most house, this house always is always getting demolished, built, restructured, hammered. When it comes to how you work on, you know, career or the social status you want to present to the world. So here, when it comes to your relationships, you Cap rises, you got to learn how to work your relationships for career. You got to learn how to network and associate with that Libra in the 10th house when it comes to career. So with the full moon transit here, you got to understand, feel how you haven't been doing that, how you haven't been connecting, how you haven't been relating things out there to build your social status, to build your brand, to build what you're working on, to get it in front of people's eyes. And you're going to be understanding how people that you've been surrounded by, associating yourself with, don't match your vision, don't match what you're trying to build, don't match that what you're trying to present to the world. You may have to, this is another house that's going to have to really realize something that they're working on with others has to start to be more of an individual goal for them. There's probably a singer in a band right now. It's probably a singer in a band right now that got this transit, full moon transit in the 10th house. And this weekend they thinking like, I should go solo on these motherfuckers. Right now, I should just go solo. I know my social status will still be popping. Like, it'll probably make my social status better. I know that'll brand me better. Like, I know I could have a better brand or better personal presentation. Yeah, you're gonna be in that energy, but ultimately seeing how relationships affect how your social status, especially how you seen, how you presented. You got people around you saying you shouldn't be hanging around this person, or this person, you know, this person got this type of reputation, and you know people know this person for something, or do you know who you be around? Like, listen to that right now, Capricorn rising. Woo! I'm glad we made it. Without me passing out. 11th house, Sagittarius rising. What is the 11th house? Air house, dealing with how we network, associate, the unknown and unfamiliar, so unknown people we don't know, unknown places we don't know, how we deal with the public environment, okay, how we connect to the outside world, rules social media, rules technology, all right, deals with communication relationships, associates, business relationships. So when we look at my Sag risings, okay, this is understanding where you the people that you've naturally been influenced to associate yourself with, because Libra in the 11th house is going to manifest relationships out in that external realm. You're going to manifest a friend that's going to put you on with another group of friend of people you ain't know. You're going to manifest connecting to others on a one-on-one level through different, unique ways. Libra in the 11th house. You know? I mean, manifest fruitful relationships from a place you don't know, from a hole in the wall, from a person you don't know, from a hole in the wall. Manifest a lot of fruitful relationships, Libra here in the 11th house, because it's both air, ruled by Venus. You got Saturn here, so you know that energy together could just bring in some, you know, positive relationships you can build upon. But when we look here, we want to see what people you may be associated with. Sag rising, people that you just been associating yourself with, you know, for whatever reason. Are these people a detriment or support to what you're doing? Are you associating yourself with people for the hell of it? All right, for the new experiences, okay, because you know Sag rising, y'all like doing new things. So the people that you've been rolling with these past couple months, the people you've been rolling with last year, people that you mostly around all the time, the people you mostly exchanging things with, the people that especially when we talk about actual associates, if you're part of any type of organizations, things in the workplace as well to a slight degree. How do these relationships add on to what you personally want to do right now in your life, Sagittarius risings? And this influence is gonna bring energies for you to understand, for you to feel and think about how you can connect yourself, what you're working on, what you aspire to do in the new year to the external realm. The moon transiting here because you need to learn to react and respond to that. You may be personally inspired about this. You may have this real bright creative vision in your personal life, but you got to understand how to network and shine some light to that. All right, in some type of shape or form with Libra in that 11th house. So it's already a sextile. So your personality by default creates a lot of opportunities to associate yourself with others or walk into certain doors by default. Sagittarius rising, your personality be all warm, charismatic, and people in new environments just want to connect to you, whatnot. You got to see all these people that done connected to you, attached to you, became a magnet. Like, damn, what are we building? What are we really structuring? What are we working on? Or did y'all just become people that ended up being in my surroundings and I ended up associating myself with? Like, you got to see why you're associating yourself with certain people right now, Sagittarius. Okay? And the 12th house. The 12th house, my Scorpio risings. Okay, this is seeing how your personality, well, first, excuse me, the 12th house deals with your imagination, the subconscious, the dream world, all right? How you push out all subconscious energies influencing the 12th house. Or we could deal with some more hidden energies as well in the 12th house. 12th house deals with how you learn from your experiences as well. You got Jupiter here. More so experiences dealing with, the exchange of the emotion and experiences developed from things you were creatively into, things you try to work on from your dreams. All right. 12th house deals with your fantasies, life after death, karma. So my Scorpio risings right now, you guys are seeing how your relationships affect how you deal with your imagination. You guys may want to cultivate certain things. You guys may want to personally cultivate certain things. Maybe a lot of things you guys daydream about, but by default, not only do y'all be thinking that y'all gotta sometimes by default, Scorpio risings with Libra in the 12th house, you can overthink some of the things in your imagination. All right. Scorpio risings could develop very tight one-on-one relationships with people with Libra in the 12th house. This is why Scorpio risings, you may not see them with a whole bunch of group of people, but they'll have multiple one-on-one relationships that they're really tight with. All right, not too many groups, but one-on-one relationships be there because it is a form of exchange for them with people that they connect with on an intimate level. So Scorpio risings right now, you got to understand how, regardless of how you feel personally or dealing with the spotlight or dealing with other people or having to fixate how you see things or feel about things personally to deal with other people, you got to understand right now the full moon transit in your 12th house, there's going to be times you got to interact with others or try to connect your imagination. Okay, could be real passionate personally, but Libra in that 12th house is influencing like, yo, we got to relate the imagination some more. We got to relate the creativity some more. So here you dealing with that energy as well. You're dealing with having more faith and belief in what you're dealing with and what you're cultivating. So this is like real Pisces season energy right here with that full moon transit in the 12th house. You're gonna have 9 out of 10 times full moon transit in your 12th house is gonna be a high state of belief. So much belief that you could play out illusions right now, full moon transit in 12th house. Play out certain illusions when it comes to what you feel like you could do with others in relationships, how you could feel like you could connect to others. So you gotta be real conscious how you act on the feel of things. Let the full moon transit your 12th house. Let you get a chance to recollect your emotions and recollect on experiences, exchanging the emotions with others. Recollect on experiences of how others played a part on things that you was doing creatively or when you try to push out your dreams and imagination. What type of relationships in your life was supportive of that? Okay, how a relationship you may be in now on an intimate romantic level correlates with your passions and dreams and personal issues. Like this is what you want to what you want to be able to understand right now. But definitely sizing up how much faith and belief you putting into a relationship you're in, and seeing if you may need to distance that and detach that because the potential or the dream that you see of a relationship in some type of shape or form, it's not panning out. So you got to see, or it's not, excuse me, not panning out, but it's not being reciprocated. So you got to see if you got to distance yourself in some type of shape or form, then let somebody throw a vibe at you, Scorpio risings. All right. So this is what we want to make sure we dealing with, y'all. I gotta go get some meditation in and some resting and some hydrating in. All right. Aries season kicking my ass. What's going on, Antonia? Happy full moon. Air gang. All right. So family, I hope you guys enjoy the vibes. I'm gonna be back with some updates, with some energy updates, you know, following this full moon. Let's make sure we move safe. Don't do the most, feeling like you have to overexpress certain thoughts. If you're connecting with others on an intimate level right now, if it's a situationship, if you know, be careful how you connect, strap up, use protection. I'm being dead ass serious, y'all, right now. All right, because it's a full moon, so things dealing with how we want to connect to others on a one-on-one level right now. If we doing the most right now, if we going out of our way right now, if we taking certain risks with others on a one-on-one level right now that we usually don't take, like nah, don't allow others. The key thing here, don't allow others to have you do things you usually want to do right now during the full moon. I've been in white energy. I've been decorating with all white. It's working. Shit, you cleaning the slate. You clearing space. You know white. You know white. That white energy is pure. All right. Getting a clean slate. So family, I'm about to get up out of here, get some rest. Y'all already know what it is. You got bored, like Libra, tuning in, tuning out. Peace, family. All right. All right.